Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So the Pennsylvania Senate race, we knew that Sean Parnell was probably going to easily win the primary and as a result easily cruise to victory over Connor Lamb or John Fetterman in the upcoming Senate election. However, ever since he dropped out and some new characters have joined the race and have all this money and are the current front runners, and it doesn't seem like any solid candidates are going to jump in the race, I think it's about time that we sit here and analyze this Senate primary because it is just one big clusterfuck. I'm sorry, I know it's a little bit of an obscene term, but there's no other word that accurately describes this. We'll censor it in the title, but it is so true. It is a mess. We're going to get into why it's a mess in this video, obviously, in just a minute, but I have to tell you guys about redeaglepatriots.com. Again, if you want to sign up, if you want to get access to the Discord, access to all of these exclusive videos, I did another exclusive video yesterday and put it on the website for members only on the Hispanic vote in 2022. Where is it headed? What is the ceiling for Republicans? And will there be any movement at all? I've put that on the website as well, and we have many other videos and articles as well, and you can join the Discord for just 16 cents a day. It's worth it. Sign up. The link is in the pinned comment, redeaglepolitics.com. I'll see you there. But in the meantime, I think it's about time that we analyze the current state of this race. Now, here's a little bit of background on Pennsylvania. 2016, this was a state that Republicans viewed as their white whale. They had not won it since 1988. And then in 2016, Donald Trump, a businessman who went to college at Wharton over in Philadelphia, the University of Pennsylvania Business School, he was the guy to impressively take the state. A lot of people didn't think that the state was going to go his way. A lot of the polls had him down in Pennsylvania by a few points or so. Well, Trump shocked the world and he won not only the election, but he also won Pennsylvania, and that was the state that was called on CNN and I believe Fox News that delivered him the victory. It put him over 270 on election night. We're waiting for Pennsylvania to be called. They probably could have called it at like 12 o'clock like the AP did, but no, the media for ratings will have to drag things on and on and on. But as a result, Pennsylvania went for Trump. It didn't go for him by a massive margin, but given the state's past voting history, he did very well, arguably leaving a lot on the table, one could argue. More legacy Dems who are, economically maybe center-left or center, but socially moderate to center-right that don't really know that they should have voted for Trump were left off the table. And you could see the fact that he did much, much better in the state compared to Mitt Romney. I mean, all these rural counties to the right by 10, 15 points in some cases. And yeah, he regressed a little bit in some of the suburbs of Philadelphia, but even the vote margins between Obama and Hillary in Philadelphia, the city, she hit her target there, but it just didn't matter because of all of the rural and smaller metro support that came out significantly in favor of Donald Trump. That is what handed him the victory in the state of Pennsylvania. So that's really it for 2016, but 2020 was also impressive. Even so, it trended to the right. It swung to the left, but it actually trended to the right when you take the national environment at face value into account here. And a lot of the white working class rural areas still did fairly well. And this speaks volumes given the fact that Joe Biden is actually from the state. And while you could say that he left some off the table in northeastern Pennsylvania, I firmly believe that more of these counties will get redder and redder as future election cycles go on. Still, given the national environment and the circumstances, the election law changes, the fact that you had a pandemic, a recession, a lot of factors working against you, and you were able to go out there and do even better than the polls expected and almost take the state again, it's still relatively impressive in its own way. But beyond that point, beyond 2016 and 2020, now we have the Senate race in 2022. So it's a Trumpian state. Trump and Trump-aligned candidates will do better in the state than your Republicans of the past, like your Romneys, even like your Toomeys. Like Toomey only really won because Trump and his movement carried Toomey to the finish line. Like, oh, but Toomey did 1% better. It doesn't matter. Without that added turnout, he would not have done 1% better. He would have done you could even say worse, and he was going up against a fairly weak candidate. But Toomey is a globalist. He is an establishment shill. He voted to impeach Donald Trump, and he's been an awful senator, in my opinion. And he doesn't vote like he's from Pennsylvania. He votes like a Republican who's like senator of New Jersey, and it shows. But beyond that point, Democrats even view Pennsylvania as their best pickup right now, which really says something. Technically not really, because you have Arizona and Nevada already in Democrat hands that I believe will flip into Republican hands. And I'm not even saying Democrats are going to have much of a chance at flipping Pennsylvania. We'll get to that in a minute, but you have to look at this campaign. You had Sean Parnell. He was that guy. He was a great candidate, great on the issues, had Trump's endorsement, and he dropped out. And you had two new candidates jump in. Now, you have other candidates like Jeff Bartos. He's meh. You have Carla Sands, who is a former ambassador. You have Kathy Barnett, who ran for Congress in a deep blue district in 2020, kind of like the same way that Kasich did, but now she's running for Senate. And there's definitely pros and cons to, all three of those candidates. Personally, Sean Gale is probably the strongest candidate, but he doesn't even have much of a website, and I don't think he's really even going to get Trump's attention just yet to even get an endorsement, but one could hope something happens here. But Barnett and Sands are better candidates in terms of the issues and in terms of relating to the base than the two new arrivals, Dr. Oz, which we've talked about at length before, and David McCormick, who was the former U.S. Treasury undersecretary, and he's worked in the Bush administration as well in the past. And Oz, we've talked about at length, and I'm going to talk right now. I'm going to give a rundown about the problems with Dr. Oz, and then we're going to talk about the problems with McCormick. So Oz has been awful on gun control in the past. Gun control is an issue he's been awful on. He's flip-flopped a lot on a lot of issues. Gun control, abortion. Now he's talking up a big game on 2A, and now he's calling himself pro-life. Now, that's red flag number one, no pun intended, because he did call for red flag laws not too long ago. This wasn't like 25 years ago. This was just a few years ago. And when it comes to what he's promoted on his show, we could talk about the fact that he has been, pressuring and bullying other talk show hosts into getting the jab, and the fact that he's been very indecisive and flip-floppy when it comes to a lot of these mandates and things like that. But also in 2010, what he promoted on his show was transgender children, so much so that GLAAD, far-left alphabet organization, called it groundbreaking. So this is conservatism right here. 2010, I mean, most Democrats would have been turned off by this idea in 2010. Even 2015 they probably would be. But Dr. Oz, the conservative, was ahead of their own curve when it came to that. But beyond that point, Oz has also shared like CRT level memes about, implicit bias and BLM when it's regarding medicine and things like that. And you look at his past Twitter in 2020, a great deal of BLM support thrown in there. And all of this kind of showcases who he really is as a candidate, the fact that he's just a grifter. Honestly, but he may not even be the worst candidate in the Senate race at all, which really says something, because you look at these candidates and you see the fact that you have David McCormick. McCormick is essentially Toomey 2.0. Dr. Oz is a little bit of an unknown wild card. It's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't know, even though the devil you don't know is still, that they're a devil, obviously. But McCormick, and this is an article from Politico, and it kind of actually touches on all the right things, though, where it says McCormick MAGA proves his Senate campaign after dissing Trump, which, again, it really shows that he's trying to just grift off of Trump's name. He's trying to get Trump's endorsement, even though there have been reports that have shown Trump says that he is not going to endorse McCormick, or he's hesitant to endorse McCormick, despite it being friendly with Jared and Ivanka, because of the fact that he doesn't believe that McCormick is a good enough candidate to win in the rural areas, which Trump is 100% right about. And that doesn't even consider the fact that McCormick has been very critical of Donald Trump as late as 2021. Literally, that's like a year ago, not even a year ago, but now he wants to be Trump's best friend because he's running for Senate, just like Lindsey Graham started to golf with Trump so he would avoid that primary challenge back in like 2017 when he was planning on winning in 2020, and he was like open about it. It's kind of gross and disgusting if you have to ask me, but he's been bashing populism, the idea of populism, essentially reaching out to the needs of the average working man, the working family, the middle class. That's what populism is, in my opinion. It's a very, very basic definition. I mean, we could talk about what populism truly means for like an hour and a half, but celebrating skilled immigration, this wasn't like saying we need to do the RAISE Act and only let in skilled immigrants, which there's problems with the RAISE Act. Obviously, it's not a perfect solution, even though I think it's a step in the right direction, but he wants more of it. He literally wants more. He supported amnesty in the past, and he's overseen more than $1 billion in investments in China. This guy is as establishment as you can truly get, and now people want him to be this America First values candidate. Really? Like, this is what he's trying to do? He's just trying to trick every single blue-collar voter in Pennsylvania. I don't think they're going to be fooled by it. I really don't. And this article goes on to talk about the China ties, the fact that he's a country club Republican. He supported Jeb Bush in 2016. Like, I could understand if he supported, like, Carson or Rand Paul, maybe even Ted Cruz, but Jeb Bush is just a train wreck of a candidate to support. Literally, you know what you're getting into when you're supporting an early Jeb Bush backer who was a part of the Bush administration, and that he was indecisive on Trump or Hillary Clinton in 2016. So we talk about like J.D. Vance's indecisiveness on that in 2016 and why it really limits him as a candidate and a trustworthy person. McCormick is that on like steroids, honestly. And he said that Trump bore a lot of responsibility for polarization and divisiveness for the past 4 years. Oh no, it's not the media's fault. It's not the left's fault. It's all Trump's fault. It's all Trump's fault. The fact that he doesn't allow himself and his supporters and his movement to get rolled over by the media. Really, yes, it's Trump's fault. And then he goes on. I believe he was one of those people who would say insurrection back in 2021. And then he decides to try and grift as an America First candidate. He'll use the term America First. He's the opposite of what America First is. He's America Last. And Dr. Oz is also America Last. I think Oz might be better on like economic issues. I think on social issues they're about the same. But I don't know who is it going to be. If Trump would endorse Oz or McCormick, I honestly hope that he endorses none of them, honestly. Both of them are garbage. The Pennsylvania Senate field is completely garbage. I do think that either candidate will probably win the general because it's a midterm election. The energy is at Biden, and Fetterman is horrendous. Fetterman is probably one of the worst candidates that you could put up. He's espoused a lot of far left values and talking points and is just a train wreck and a meme. He might win the primary, which means he's probably going to lose the general. It would do horrible with independents, bad in the suburbs, bad in the rurals as well, even though he will try to play this optics game where he's like big dude equals safety. No, it really doesn't work that way. And Connor Lamb, I think Connor Lamb could try to moderate and pull a cinema, but I don't think it would work. I think he would have a chance against somebody like Oz or especially McCormick, but I don't think that he would win. I think it would be close, but I think that the generic Republican would hold on, but that doesn't mean we have to settle for these weak establishment losers who are running in the state of Pennsylvania, and hopefully we can get somebody better. Now, of these candidates right here, it really depends which one rises up in the polls and rises in fundraising. Trump, one of his reasons why he doesn't endorse no-name candidates is because he cares deeply about his endorsement record, which some might say is kind of like an ego thing, but And for that reason, I think he might be leaning towards Dr. Oz at the moment. But Carla Sands worked in his administration. She's better than both of them, in my opinion. So since she's doing well in the polls, he might endorse her. Kathy Barnett, maybe. Barnett doesn't seem to have a lot of funding at the moment. But, I mean, on the immigration section on her website, she's like one of the only candidates that's talked about limiting legal immigration as well. So that's kind of a plus. But beyond that point, we don't know who's it going to be at this point. I think Trump's endorsement's going to take it, and I just hope he doesn't endorse McCormick. I hope he doesn't endorse Oz either. But Scott Perry, he should have run, but I think he's holding off for 2024, which might be a good thing for his sake, because if anybody is going to beat Bob Casey, it's him. But it's just a train wreck right now. And things change. Like, we didn't know that Sean Parnell would not be the nominee in Pennsylvania like 4 or 5 months ago. So it's possible that a dark horse candidate could arise. We just don't know who it's going to be. We don't have that much primary polling to begin with. But we'll see. We'll wait and see. There's a long time between now and the primary. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.